video, I'm going to show you how you can keep track of form responses that you send out to individuals. So as long as you have a set list of emails that you send forms to, you can keep track of who completed it and who hasn't. And that's just by implementing a very simple formula. And you'll be using the same sheet that you would see all of the form responses to. So this is the sheet that populates from your Google form. And just using that same sheet, we will go ahead and put our formula in, and it will simply tell us a yes or a no next to the email address of who's completed it. And it will automatically change as submissions come in. It will automatically compare that data and it will change to a yes or no. And that's an easy way to keep track of that. The only thing that you're required is that when you create your form, one of the answers, you do have to collect email addresses. So that is the only requirement, that on your form there has to be somewhere where you're collecting email addresses, because that is needed to be able to compare the formula to be able for it to work. So the first thing that we're going to do is from our form response sheet, right, we will go ahead and add one, and this is where we're going to be inputting our formula, and this is where we can see our yes or no answers. Your list of email addresses, and you can just copy and paste that list of email addresses that you sent your form to, would go on the first column. So I would just copy and paste that on there. And then from the form response sheet here, the only change that I would need to do is actually just rename it. Usually is named by default just form responses. For the formula to work, I have found it that if I change it to just submissions, it works better. So I just have to rename that sheet submissions, and that's the only thing. Everything else stays the same, and I just have to keep track of where in my form do I collect my email addresses. And in this case, it's in my column B where my email addresses are listed, because that is going to make a difference when we put our formula in. So now go back to sheet 2. I have already completed the email addresses. I've pasted them into the first column, and then the second column is where we're going to actually put in our formula. So this formula is comparing this sheet to the first submission sheet, and it's comparing those email addresses to see if it's been submitted. If it's there, you'll get a yes and it's done, and if it's not there, then you'll get a no that they haven't done it yet. So submissions is that first sheet, so we have already changed our first sheet to be that title. And then I have put here the column that my email addresses, right, the B is referring to the B column from my submissions. This is where my email addresses are coming from. So this visual might make more sense. So this is where you're getting the submissions from. Then from here this is referring to the column of where you have your emails in your submission sheet. So in this case here, they have it on a C, but in mine, it's on a B. So that's why I'll just change the C's to B's. Then this is where it's comparing it to on the second sheet, which is the first column, right? And it's going to give you either a yes or a no. And then this number is from where it starts to where it ends. So this might change depending on how many email addresses you have. And you just have to change that to however many, whatever number of cell that is to the end of your email address list. So this very simple formula is what I will paste into the first cell here, and I've already then changed it to B so it matches. So they'll see like this first person that's already working, this first person did submit it. And so what I would do then is I can just take this and I can just select all of the cells that I need, right? In this case, I have up to number 18. Once I do that, I can press Control D, and that will copy that formula to all of my cells. And I've noticed then that all of my emails that are here have all submitted except for one. This one person has not submitted, which happens to be mine. So let me show you what happens live once I do. So if I go back here and actually complete the form now and I submit, right, my response has now been submitted. If I go back, oh, you see it's already changed to yes, that submission came in. Now that's been completed. So this is a very simple way that you can just input this, and you can work for any of your forms as long as you're collecting email addresses, that you can keep a yes or no track of who's completed the form and who still has to do that. So thanks for watching.